I'm 77 years old. And for most of my life, people thought I had it all figured out. The job, the title, the kind of success people nod at when they hear your name. But here's the truth I didn't understand until it was too late. I was admired, but I was never really known. When I was younger, success felt urgent, like a fire I had to keep feeding, or everything fall apart. I told myself I was doing it for my family and for my wife, for my kids. That's what responsible men say, right? But responsibility can quietly turn into absence. I worked long hours, then longer ones. Trips turned into weeks. Weeks turned into months. I missed birthdays, not because I didn't care, but because there was always something important happening. A deal, a client, a meeting that couldn't wait. I remember my son's 7th birthday. My wife called me that morning and asked, "Are you sure you can't come home early tonight?" I told her I'd try. I didn't. When I got home, the house was quiet, balloons drooping, cake already cut. My son was asleep. I stood there in my suit holding a small gift bag I bought at the airport. I told myself, he'll understand someday. That's the lie ambitious people tell themselves. Children don't understand absence, they just feel it. My daughter stopped asking me to come to her school events after a while, not out of anger. Out of adaptation, she learned who would show up. And it wasn't me. My wife tried to keep the family together. She'd save me a plate at dinner, reheat it late at night. Sometimes she'd sit at the table while I ate, even though she was tired. She wanted to talk. I wanted to rest. I thought being physically present someday would make up for all the times I wasn't. But relationships don't work on back pay. As the years passed, my career climbed. People respected me. They asked for my advice. They introduced me with pride, but something was quietly slipping through my fingers. I didn't notice it happening. No one ever does. Distance doesn't arrive suddenly. It grows slowly, like dust. My kids grew up while I was busy becoming someone impressive. I knew their report cards, not their fears. I knew what colleges they applied to, not who they were becoming. By the time I slowed down, they were already gone. College, careers, families of their own, good lives, lives that didn't revolve around me. My wife got sick when I was in my late 50s. Nothing dramatic at first, just small things. Fatigue, appointments. I told myself I'd cut back soon. I didn't. She passed away 3 years later. I was holding her hand when it happened. And in that moment, with all my success, all my accomplishments, I felt like a man who had arrived too late. After she was gone, the house felt enormous. Too quiet, too empty. I retired not long after. People congratulated me. Now you can finally enjoy life, they said, but they didn't see what my days actually looked like. Mornings with no reason to rush, afternoons with no one to talk to, evenings filled with memories instead of plans. My kids called. Sometimes they were busy. I'd raised them to be. Grandkids came on holidays. They were polite, sweet, but they didn't know me. They knew the idea of me, the successful grandfather, the provider, not the man who wished he had read more bedtime stories or sat through more school plays or stayed home on ordinary Tuesdays. I once overheard my grandson ask his mother, "Why is Grandpa always so quiet?" That question hurt more than any failure ever did. because silence is what happens when you don't build shared memories. Here's something no one tells you about success: it rewards sacrifice immediately and charges interest later. At 7, I have everything I once wanted: financial security, a respected career behind me, a comfortable life, and yet most evenings I eat dinner alone. I scroll through my phone and wonder if calling would feel like an interruption. I sit in rooms built for people who aren't there anymore. I was admired, but I wasn't known. Not deeply, not intimately. And that's the difference between being successful and being remembered. If you're younger and watching this, I want you to hear me clearly. I'm not saying ambition is bad. I'm saying ambition without presence is dangerous. Your kids won't remember the size of your paycheck. They'll remember whether you showed up. Your partner won't measure love by comfort alone. They'll measure it by attention. You don't get to make it up later. Later doesn't undo distance. Later doesn't rebuild missed moments. Later just shows you what you traded. At 77, I've learned this. Success impresses strangers. Presence builds family. I'd give up every compliment I ever received to go back and be more ordinary and more available. If you still have time, please don't make my mistake. Don't confuse being busy with being important. Don't confuse providing with parenting. Don't confuse providing with parenting. Don't confuse success with fulfillment. Because one day when the voice fades, when the titles no longer matter, when the house gets quiet, they'll realize the people you sacrificed time with were the only ones who could have filled that silence. I was admired, but I wasn't known, and that's a price no achievement is worth paying. If this story made you pause, share it with someone you care about, and ask yourself one honest question tonight. Who knows you?